Listen, boys, there's nothing better than a good rivalry in combat sports. And we had to come out to Paris to support the Fighting Nerds to see my brother Caio Borralho. Whatever you want to call it, there's a rivalry. And, man, I can't wait for this fight on Saturday. I can't wait for this fight on Saturday night, brother.
Yeah, bro, I'm very excited for this fight, too. First of all, I love your glasses.
Thank you. I like them, too.
Thank you, brother. Did you like my Meta glasses?
Yeah, they actually have lenses. These ones don't, but those are nice.
The new ones. They did for me, and they put my prescription and everything. Awesome glasses from Meta. But yeah, I'm very excited for this fight, man. I think we did a great job promoting this fight. Me and Imavov, we did a great job promoting. And everybody wants to see this fight, you know? And I think it's going to be fire.
I was just going to ask that because I feel like this whole thing kind of started when we were in Miami, right? Like, you put that tweet out there, and then I was texting you like 10 minutes later, and we were filming the video, and Ivan was kind of like, hey, man, what's going on here? Like, Caio, you got to settle down, man.
The Dagestani people are ashamed of him. I heard that the Dagestani guys like to fight. They fight in the street. They live a rough life. But this guy is a fucking pussy. He's not Dagestani. Dagestan is shame of you. Have shame on you.
But let's be real. That video, I mean, he's used it in his edits.
Yeah.
I've seen some quotes for it everywhere in the promo. So, I mean, at the time, it might not have been the greatest idea, but I think it's done well to promote this fight.
Now we're here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, it happened. You know what I mean? And that was one of the few moments in my life that I was mad. Because I'm never mad at anything, you know. I don't give people power to make me mad, you know what I mean? And but this time, I just had the news that he didn't accept the fight, that we were supposed to fight on International Fight Week. And then I was like, how, man? Like, what the fuck? And it's crazy because he said that he wouldn't accept the fight because he was the backup. And now, all of a sudden, he comes and say that he got offered to be the backup and he didn't accept to be the backup? Like, it doesn't even make sense, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was good. Good promotion. Now we're here, finally here. Nowhere else to run. Just me and him. Let's see.
Yeah, let's dive into this a little bit because you talked about a couple of things there, and I want to touch on those points, right? So first of all, I talked to him yesterday, and I think he wanted to point out the fact that, you know, he was saying that I never didn't accept the fight. He was saying that he just wanted the fight on his terms. He said he had fought 4 times in 10 months against top 10 opponents or things like that. And in his eyes, he was saying that, no, if we're going to fight, we're going to do it on my terms, and we're going to do it in Paris. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think right now it's easy to speak that. Because right now, they announced Paris way ahead of that. They did it. Paris wasn't announced, wasn't like planning or anything like that. There wasn't even like rumors about UFC Paris about it. You know what I mean? And right now it's easy to talk about that. So his manager says a lot of things. He just repeat what his manager says. So for me, it doesn't even make sense. I just think that I'm not saying that he was scared of me or afraid of me, but this is not a fight that he was wanting to have because of the style of the fight, how well-rounded I am. He knew that, to be honest, I think he doesn't want to take any risks. That's what I think. He doesn't like to take any risks. That's why he didn't accept, because I don't think he even offered to him, but he didn't accept to be the backup because there's a risk to make weight twice in 3 weeks and fly to Chicago and all that. So it doesn't even make sense what the guys say.
Yeah, so do you not believe what he was saying then? Because, like I said, he was saying that it was all part of his strategy. He said, I didn't want to accept it because I was going to give it to Caio because Caio's ego was going to accept this fight. This is what he was saying to me yesterday,
Yeah, I heard.
right? So like, what is your opinion on this whole thing? Obviously, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The two of you are going to get locked in that octagon on Saturday night. We're going to find out what's going to happen, but it just seems like a lot of things are getting lost in communication here.
100%, because it's not coming from him. It's coming from his manager, his team, and other guys, you know. All these videos that he did on social media, none of them was his idea. Was good videos, good team behind him, but none of them was his idea. You know, he's not a guy that communicates that much, you know. So he's just like repeating what people around him are saying. So that's why there's a lot of holes in this communication. Nothing makes sense. It's crazy. I'll be with my mouth shut, you know, if I was him, you know. And yes, it is what it is. Like, ego, wanting to go for the belt, it's ego. Like, what the fuck is that, man? So everybody has ego in the UFC because everybody wants the belt. Would you say no to a title fight? What the fuck, you know? So, fuck that.
I was just going to say, it's crazy that you picked up on that, because I was reading some of the comments, and a lot of people are saying, like, it's not actually Imavov that's saying these things. It's more coming from his management. They're saying that Imavov is more of like a chill. You can't get a lot out of him. But regardless, the two weight cuts, people were critical. People were worried about it. You know what I mean? And we've seen in the past, like, Tony Ferguson being the worst example, unfortunately. You know what I mean? He did those two weight cuts, and it ended up going horribly for him with Justin Gaethje. But you sitting beside me, you don't look drained. You don't look drawn out. And I feel like we've talked about the nutritionist and the team that you have around you before, but the back-to-back weight cuts, everything seems pretty good right now, Caio Borralho.
Yeah, it's pretty good, actually. The cut in Chicago was the best cut of my life. Easy, smooth. You know how I entered the scale? I wasn't even look like dehydrated or anything like that. I was good, smiling. 3 weeks, I see you again. And first of all these guys that are worried about the two weight cuts, they never did it, to be honest. So they never did at least one weight cut. Imagine two. So they know how it is. You know, your body is already on mode, you know. Like, you do a weight cut, you recover in the next days. In 2 days, I was back training, killing it, flying high. And all these guys that have all this opinion, I think only like 5% are fighters. And these 5%, 100% of them never did that. So I don't care about people's opinion, you know. And I was saying that in media, like, if everything goes out of my plans, and if I lose on Saturday, I will never say it was because of the weight cuts. You know what I mean? That was just because Nas was better than me on that night. That's all, you know? So I'm feeling good. My weight is lower than all the other weight cuts that I had into my career, and I'm still eating good, eating carbs, and then in the night, gonna do another training session, just having fun with my coaches, do some jiu-jitsu, some positioning, some drills. And then tomorrow is smooth cut. It's smooth.
Listen, man, you talked about it doesn't matter what people's opinions are, but you do pay attention. And I gotta ask this question because you gave me a little bit of shit. You called me out. You said, hey, Sean, and this plays into what's going on right now. You said, hey, Sean, why is RDR getting to be the backup for Chimaev and Duplessis? What about me? So we've got a fight in Vancouver coming up. Wait. Oh, want me to be hold up. All right.
I just said, bro, what the fuck? That's what I said. Because you were saying that he was the one that was needed to be the backup or this and that. I was like, what the fuck, man, you know? That's what I said. But okay.
In my defense, the fight with Imavov was booked, yes. And I was like, there's no way he's going to do another weight cut as a backup. But yes, he did call me on it. So anyways, we got a fight coming up. It seems to be like this 4-man tournament that everybody's talking about, right? The fight this weekend, and then RDR and Fluffy. But once this fight's over on Saturday night, do you think that fight is even going to matter? Is it even going to be talked about? Or you're just going to go straight to the belt after this?
I think I'm going to go straight for the belt. Because my plan is to go there, do a good fight, an entertaining fight, and dominate him, you know? And I think there's I was saying that the only way that Fluffy or RDR, but I think Fluffy gonna dominate the fight, and I really like the guy. The only way that him is gonna be ahead of me is if my fight with Imavov is boring. But I don't think this fight is gonna be boring. I think it's gonna be a fireworks. I think it's gonna be a great fight because he's a phenomenal athlete. I'm a phenomenal athlete too. So the fight itself is already promoted. The whole world wants to see, and I just need to go there, dominate him as I always did with my opponents. Good opponents, and I always dominate. So my plans on Saturday is to go in there, get the finish. I think it'll be a 4th round finish, and then after that, no more conversations about any other fight. On Tuesday, number 2 or maybe number 1 on the side of my name in the rankings, and then Caio versus Khamzat.
Then realistically, how much pressure are you going to put on Khamzat to book that fight? Because we know he likes to take some time in between his fights. So if you had your way, I know the champion obviously gets priority, but if you had your way, how quickly is that fight going to happen?
I'll be ready when he's ready. You know, I'm not going to put any pressure on anyone because I respect Khamzat. We're like kind of friends, you know, and I think it's going to be a great fight against him. And but I want to fight. When I did my first interview in the UFC, I said that I will be champion by the end of 2025. So if this fight happens in December, maybe Las Vegas, T-Mobile, will be very, very cool, and everything will come to reality. You know, that would be very nice, but not putting any pressure.
Caio Borralho, any final message for the French fans that are going to be tuning in this weekend? That you're planning on breaking their hearts. So, do you have any consoling messages to say to them?
No, just don't get mad at me after I beat your guy. You know, like I'm here to represent you guys too, because if you don't know, Nassourdine is Russian, and Russia was the nation that defeated France in 1803. You know that, right? So France lost the war to Russia before getting the downfall. And then I'm going to be the guy that's going to avenge you guys in your territory against a Russian guy. So I hope you guys thank me for that. See you on Saturday.
I think that's a good way to end it right there. Nothing more needs to be said. Caio Borralho, I'll stand up. It's always good to see you, my brother.